Let's talk about nature, about environment and nature. Effects of nature and environment. Nature and environment are deeply interlinked with humanity because only here have more nature. The other planets there's no nature at all. It's all like artificial. It's all like mechanics or artificial and fake. And on planet Earth is where we found the most greens and blue and organic. So nature and environment are deeply interlinked with humanity. Favorable weather patterns are conducive to human survival, while the opposite is true of unfavorable patterns, including natural disasters, which is not really natural. There's a hand on it. It's caused on purpose by beings here or incarnate or discarnate or invisible forces. It's nothing to do with no sense. No, there's nothing like natural. All this hurricane, earthquake, typhoon are all caused by a conscience, by it is purposely done on purpose most of the time, because humans itself doesn't care for our environment. All it cares is money. We litter our bodies of water like lakes, oceans, rivers, etc. We cut down our trees in large proportion. So what do you expect? What do you want to get in return? You sow what you have planted. Over the recent past, humanity's awareness of its impact on nature and environment has increased in terms of pollution, climate change, global warming, etc. What is unknown to most is that this interplay extends beyond the physical dimension into the psychological and spiritual dimensions. In this regard, James Gustav Speth, an environmental lawyer and advocate, has said that while he initially felt that the top environmental problems were due to physical reasons, he has realized that the root of the problem is deeper. Yeah, because human is not a good husbandman, and then it gives reins to the other invisible forces to wreak havoc in here. They see that you're all not good to take care of the earth, so they come in and then they bring their high technology and bonkers. Everything goes haywire, and it doesn't help the fact that they have their minions in here working for them. He has understood that humans need a cultural and spiritual transformation to address the attitude level problems that underlie environmental problems. They doesn't need anything like spiritual thing, doesn't need to no religion. All you need is conscience, discipline. Since young I know already. I didn't need my father, my mother to teach me that. I know that's not okay to throw rubbish on the where I stay, on the road, on the lakes, on rivers, on oceans. I know that not okay to spit anyhow. I know that it's not okay to litter our environment. overall. I knew all that. Take your garbage, hold until you get a little trash can and then throw into it. It's all about conscience. It's all about discipline. You don't have to grow up to know. Young children are supposed to know by heart if they have a good DNA. Factors such as the absolute cosmic principles and negative energies play a role. I know it's all those aliens who do all this. This section sheds more light on these aspects which are unknown to the world at large. But they are stupid people. Do they know? They don't think beyond the book, beyond culture. Over the decades, there have been many scientific reports for and against the effect of the moon on human behavior, and there is an effect because they send in influences from the moon. The moon also is known as a satellite to spy on Earth, and they send frequencies when there's ever a full moon, especially so, and during the moon cycle. I know that, and that's why the term is lunatic. Where come it from? Where does it come from? In Latin we call it moon is luna. Okay, so lunatic, the crazy person who gets influenced by those frequencies sent here, shut down here from elsewhere. The reports analyzed the heightened mind activity, more energy, increased visits to general psychiatric emergency, and a lot of the psychic attack and violence as well, because people get more uptight, more nervous, because it's affect our psychiatric emergency departments, and people complain of a higher level of physical and mental distress. It's true. The spirituals examined the effect of the moon on human behavior using spiritual research methodology, and the spiritual research that we conduct using the 60 sense to ascertain the effect. Do you need 60 sense for that? It's a common feeling, it's an intuition. Just go in to know. Do you need to do ritual and try it to ascertain the effect of the moon on human behavior? The short answer is yes, it does have an effect. The following are the various aspects on how the moon affects our life. The generic, subtle, intangible effect of the moon. All objects, including stars, planets, and satellite bodies, along with the gross tangible attributes, emanate subtle intangible. See? I didn't even read this, I knew already. Subtle intangible frequencies. These physical attributes and subtle frequencies affect us in varying degrees at the physical and subtle level. Especially people who is of God, doesn't care for their mental health, and people who doesn't look for knowledge, and those who already are mentally challenged. The frequencies emanating from the moon affect the frequencies of the mental body, mind of human beings. By mind we mean our feelings, emotions, and desires. The mind consists of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Nope, it's electronic. Within the subconscious mind, we have a number of impressions that are embedded that decide our basic nature and personality. We are, however, not aware of the thoughts or impressions in our subconscious mind. These impressions get collected over a number of lifetimes. These impressions in our mind are the catalysts for all our thoughts and subsequent actions. Both the impressions and our thoughts have their own subtle frequencies. Conscious mind 10%, subconscious mind 90%, perceptive and personality, quality impression. So the moon frequencies are slightly more subtle and intangible than the subtle frequencies of our thoughts, but are less subtle than the frequencies of the impressions in our mind. The moon frequencies have the capacity to make the thought frequencies from the impressions in our subconscious mind to surface to the conscious mind. Once in the conscious mind, become aware of them. Thus, one will be influenced as per the predominant impressions in one's mind. We have explained this in more detail in the next section. Similarly, the moon also affects the mind of animals. And the full moon is coming this Sunday now. However, as the subconscious mind of animals consists of impressions related only to basic desires, such as hunger, sex, sleep, the heightened thoughts are related to these basic instincts only. And then there's the same as a human who wants to think of sleep, eat, sex, nothing else, and a walk. It's just about, it's no difference from the basic instincts of the animals. Effect based on illumination of phase of the moon. On the new moon day, the non-illuminated dark side of the moon faces towards Earth. Darkness here emanates dark energy, predominant frequencies. Hence, compared to when the illuminated side faces Earth, more subtle black energy, predominant frequencies are transmitted towards Earth. Alternately, on a full moon day, there is a decrease in the dark frequencies or dark energy, whatever, because of the increased illumination. However, on a full moon day, as the moon frequencies are most active, heightened activity of the mind is observed as explained above and pointed to. Depending on the types of impressions from the subconscious mind that are activated, the heightened activity can range from heightened random thoughts to heightened mind activity of specific thoughts. For example, a person who is a writer and is focused on some book that he is writing is more likely to get a heightened thought activity mainly pertaining to the book and creativity and writing style. These types of thoughts will arise out of the talent center. Hence, he may find that he can write prolifically on a full moon day. However, for most people, the thoughts are random. If there are a number of dominant personality defects, such as anger, greed, etc., then they too may surface and dominate our thoughts during this period, and traumas, if stress. For example, an alcoholic will get more thoughts about the need to drink alcohol on this day, and then if that comes, all his anger will surface when he drinks that alcohol, though his beast side will surface. It's thus possible to awaken thoughts about spirituality that lie not in the subconscious mind of a spiritual person by taking advantage of the heightened mind activity and by increasing spiritual practice on a full moon day. I don't want that. When the moon is full or new, the gravitational pull of the moon and sun are combined. The moon exerts a pull on the earth on other days too, but it's not as powerful as on the days of full moon and new moon. And also it aggravates also the ocean and the river it rise, because it also aggravates the atmosphere and the ionosphere. Suppose we were to take in a deep breath. The air sucked into our mouth is 3 times as much as a normal breath. Now, let's translate this analogy to the moon and its pull on the earth. During full moon and new moon days, the whole moon is pulling earth, and the effect is as if in the early analogy the moon is taking a deep breath. We find that the circular atmosphere of 3 times the size of the moon is attracted from the earth. Effect of the moon gravitational pull. Atmosphere pull towards the moon creates a subtle high pressure belt. Moon, atmosphere, earth. And that's why many people feel like they are being sucked, I have this feeling that I've been sucked it out. I have some pains. There's some full moon that I feel very run down. At the time of full moon and the new moon days, the absolute cosmic principles on earth, such as absolute earth, absolute water, and absolute air, pull towards the moon. This creates a type of subtle, very high pressure belt. In this process, at a physical level, when water is attracted toward this moon, rather than the water, the gaseous elements in water vapor, come above water and enter the subtle high pressure belt. Since negative energies are predominantly in gaseous form, they get pulled into the subtle high pressure belt. Here, they group together and get added strength in numbers from each other. They therefore attack humanity to a large extent on these days. The impact of this is that the attacks of the demons on humans, both at a physical and mind level, can be as much as 3 times more nowadays. In the hermitages around the world, an increase in negative energy attacks and subtle negative pressure has been observed on full moon and new moon days. So better you guard yourself during full moon. And this Sunday will be full moon. This starts 2 days prior to full moon or new moon and ends 2 days after. Second self-increase effect of full moon and new moon. On new moon days, the negative spreading demons, devils, people engaged in occult rituals and predominantly negative, beneficial, or positive influences, positive energies are strongly influenced and receive black energy for their black energy activities. As it is a day conducive for negative activities, it's considered an inauspicious day for any positive activities. The black energy from the moon affects the mind. The incidency of black energy tendencies like running away, suicide, or possessions by spirit is highest on new moon, especially during the night. as the otherwise naturally available purification by the absolute cosmic fire principle through the sun being absent. New moon night is a golden opportunity for the devils to cause distress to men, not ghosts, devil. Devils take advantage of the rise in black negative energy to amass black energy that's used to orchestrate events such as natural disasters or events that will lead to WW3. And it's not gonna be so near, don't worry about it, not gonna be too near. On a full moon night, as the illuminated side of the moon faces Earth, minimal subtle basic one must always Rajatama. Black energy is transmitted on this night compared to other nights. Hence, on this night, minimal black energy is available for devils. Black energy predominantly people with black energy or practitioners of occult rituals. However, devils or negativity take advantage of the effect of the gravitational pull on a full moon day and cause heightened distress. Spiritual research has further revealed that there are some final differences between the effect of new moon and full moon on man. Overall, the distressing effect of the moon on man is more on new moon than on full moon. Ooh, changed already? I thought it was on full moon. The adverse effect of full moon is more on the physical. Yeah, it's true. It's give aches and pain, and I make us sometimes wasted it out. Whereas the moon, the, whereas that of the new moon is more on the mind. The effect of full moon is more apparent, whereas the effect on new moon is more intangible, subtle. As the effect of a new moon is not apparent to the person, it's even more dangerous. Yep, it's true. It's very, very true, because when you are out of your mind, then what you can do? This is because, as he's not aware of the distress, no steps taken to overcome it. Yeah, but we can do something. There is help. We can do some frequencies, listening to remove all this black energy from us and from around us, and from the environment. This is how I cleanse myself, otherwise I'm done. Between new moon and full moon, the effects of new moon are less noticeable to eyes. However, the negative effect is more on new moon. The reason for this is that on new moon, the effect on man is more at a subtle level as opposed to the full moon, where one is aware of the increase in thoughts. Seekers who do a lot of spiritual practice and the 6 basic principles of spiritual are mainly positive energy in nature. As a result, they are more sensitive to changes in the dark energy in the environment as compared to an average person who is himself the dark energy predominant. The upside is that seekers of God are better equipped to access protection of God from negative energy. Oh man, I really don't need this. I'm not a religion follower, but I can counteract all this nature. How much does the spiritual life provide protective shield against the devils? Why are recent reports unable to find evidence of the effect of the moon in human behavior? Some earlier medical psychological studies had documented the effect of the moon on human behavior, but the studies conducted the recent years have failed to correlate this effect. The reason for this is that in the last decade there has been an unprecedented increase in overall black energy in the world. It's true. The open portal, what? This excess is black energy has been primarily orchestrated by devils, yet not ghosts. Devil. The overall increase in the dark energy component has widespread effect on all aspects of the world. The problems range from increased mental issues at an individual level to increased fights in families. Yeah, that's very true. To terrorism, to natural disaster. That's why people must safeguard themselves, must watch out, be always on the watch. And that's why all those videos are all about to help people, but they don't want, they like gossip, they like rubbish, um, fame movies, fame video about famous people, about how to make the most money, about food. They are not interested in all this subject. Sadly not. Sadly for them and for the world at least. As a result of the underlying overall increase in erratic behavior throughout the month, the additional effect of the new and full moon that still present goes largely unnoticed in statistical studies. What can you do to protect yourself from harm? Since the harmful effect of the new and full moon is due to spiritual reason, only spiritual remedies, spiritual practices can help and give protection. I do spiritual frequencies. At a worldly level, it's best to avoid taking important decisions or buy selling on these days, and the devils can affect through this media, increase the quantity and quality of spiritual practice from 2 days prior to and continue for 2 days after full moon and new moon days. So it's beneficial to chant for religions, of course, during the waning phase of the moon, example the period between full moon day and new moon day, as the size of the moon progressively reduces, the subtle black energy frequencies emanating from it progressively rise. This is because the darker side of the moon progressively increases. Hence, to protect oneself from the adverse influence of this enhanced black energy, it's important that we step up our spiritual practice during this period. Yeah, this is good. During the waxing phase of the moon, we should at least try to stabilize the increased effort we had put in the earlier fortnights. This so that we can again renew efforts at the recent spiritual practice in the next waning phase of the moon. And what I do is I spray the house with salt and vinegar water. Entonces, to experience the headaches after solar eclipse on August 21. Definition of eclipse. Eclipse is an astronomical event that occurs when one object in the sky moves into the shadow of another. The term is most often used to describe either solar eclipse, when the moon's shadow crosses Earth's surface, or a lunar eclipse, when the moon moves into the shadows of Earth. Solar and lunar eclipses are significant events at a spiritual level. There is a increase in black energy which has negative effects on humanity. These take advantage of the heightened black energy to create a variety of issues that have global negative repercussions. Regular spiritual practice ensures that we are isolated from its subtle and tangible harmful effects. Governed by the sun deity. The sun deity is the aspect of God that controls the function of all the suns and other stars in the universe. The sun deity in its source form is unmanifest. Some say that the sun deity is called Jesus, or is the same as Krishna, and that is the same as Sananda, and he is the solar serpent, was called the solar serpent. The sun deity manifests through the absolute cosmic fire principle and materializes as the sun we see in the sky. Lightning and fire on earth, all living beings are dependent on the sun, as one of the sun deity's main functions in the universe is provide light and radiancy in the universe. But I don't think that he's the need of this deity here listened like Jesus or Krishna. I don't think so. I think that they have just what they did was to get in. They pretend to be the sun deity, but they are not sun deity at all. There are certain eclipses on the moon too, but their impact on the universe is much less as compared to that solar eclipse. By creating a barrier between the sun and the earth in a subtle eclipse, powerful subtle sorcerers interfere with the function of the sun and hence increase the black energy on earth. Yeah, it's true. 10% physical eclipse, 70% subtle eclipse. Out of all the eclipses that take place, 70% are subtle eclipses and 30% are physical. Humankind, including the best astronomers, is only aware of the 30% physical eclipses. Thus, humankind is in total ignorance about the subtle eclipses. Only people who are above the 50% spiritual level and if advanced in active 60 sense can perceive the presence and the subtle effect of the subtle eclipse. The average person cannot perceive the subtle intangible effects of subtle eclipse. The negative impact of a subtle eclipse on humankind is 9 times more powerful than that of a normal physical solar or lunar eclipse. Yep. So that's why sometimes it's better just to be careless. Spiritual research has shown that in the case of all eclipses, there is a rise in the black energy and a reduction in the light energy. This rise in this black energy has many detrimental side effects at subtle and tangible level, which may not be noticeable in the physical plane initially. However, these black energy laden conditions are made use of the D's, not the ghosts who die, the D's, to harm society. Due to the sun being obscured by a subtle intangible barrier in front of the physical or subtle sun during an eclipse, there are two significant spiritual impacts. The environment becomes conducive for negative energies to amass black energy. Black energy is a type of spiritual energy that's the primary weapon of attack of these, not ghosts. The environment is most conducive for negative energies to utilize the black energy to harm humankind, because sometimes they deceive us, they are stupid, they don't want to start. So during the period of the eclipse as well as to sow the seed of destruction of humankind by reptilian, because the people here is like amoeba, they don't want to learn, so let them. In the case of physical eclipses, the reason for increased black energy is due to the fact that during an eclipse, the light from the sun or the moon is obstructed even before it reaches the earth. This darkness is an anomaly in the general cycle of day and night, wherein a period of that should have been in light is now in darkness. In fact, the spiritually detrimental effect of the phenomenon of night is equivalent to just 2% in that of an eclipse. This insofar as the negative energy's ability to use the darkness and as a result increase in dark energy to harm society. In the case of untangible energy eclipse, a higher order of devils creates a black or reptilians create a black energy, negative energy border between the sun and the earth. Those direct attacks the pseudo sun. This obstruction again causes an increase in black energy. The sun is far more important to life on Earth than the moon. Yep, sure. By obstructing it at a pseudo-physical level, the environment on Earth becomes far more vulnerable at a pseudo-intangible level and thereby more conducive for devils. And imagine when you have an eclipse, all the idiots go there and take pictures and find it so nice, so interesting, but they don't know the spiritual side of it, that there's nothing to be glad for, nothing to be amused about. The following table gives the difference in the proportion of the three pseudo basic components on average in the current of year of the universe. Average eclipse, average eclipse, average eclipse. Ooh. See here the light energy, which the intellect, okay, is 30%, 20% eclipse. Average here 31. Sounds the desire, the drive for things physical. Here is the dark energy increased now. The maximum total impact of an eclipse on humans depends on where it is most visible. The more visible it is, the greater the total impact on people in that region. Oh, that's terrible. Thus, if an eclipse were to be most visible in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it would have least total impact as it's minimally populated area. Dark energy increases activities of devil. During an eclipse period, the power of distress energy increases by 1,000 times compared to other times. This is because devils or reptilian harness to excessive raja to black energy generated by the eclipse to amass black energy, either by utilizing the condition to do more spiritual practice to gain negative spiritual black energy, or by stealing the spiritual energy of religion. I don't think so. I see people that's so religion, the heart so rotten, and then they are so religion, but they never get much affected. Black energy is spiritual energy, is used to harm society. Sure. And come from there's black energy and black dark energy and dark matter. The following is a drawing based on subtle knowledge. So the hell have a lot of not ghost devils called sorcerers, the magus, black mago, the negative, the spiritual practice like sacrificial fire or meditation to harness spiritual black energy. The black energy generated by various subtle sorcerers flow toward the 7 regions of hell where it is stored. These flows of black energy are all interconnected. In the subtle positive region, the subtle bodies of sages are engaged in meditation. The wind consciousness Chaitanya flows from the high positive region to combat the increased black energy on earth. There's a subtle battle between the force of good and evil issues on earth plane. Ooh, that's terrible. At the time of eclipse, people are more likely to be affected by their departed. No. Don't come if there's not our ancestor. No way. In many cases, departed ancestors create problems in their descendants. No. That's rubbish. That's superstition and lies. It's not the ghost, you idiot. It's the devil. And I don't believe that in the higher heavens they do meditation to have this battle between good and evil. There's nonsense. They are all in the same game, just that they pretend to be light versus dark, good versus evil, but they are all one, right? We are alone to battle ourselves against them. Nonsense. In this reason, those are not created by ghosts at all. It's a lie and a misunderstanding, and to cover up that is the devils that they themselves worship, or the reptilian. People may experience lethargy, tiredness, sickness, physical level to psychological level, that excess emotional and negative thoughts, especially about spiritual practice. The moon is known to affect the mind. During full moon, the effects even more pronounced. Spot accentuated lunar eclipse. The general decline in decision-making capacity and people more likely to make incorrect decisions. Impact on eclipse of humankind. As I mentioned earlier, ghosts use the excess of dark energy, not ghost level, from eclipse to collect black energy. They use this black energy to harm humankind in various ways. They do this by sowing seeds of destruction and harm at a subtle intelligence. They are not ghosts, idiot, never been human, never, ever. They are devil and devil, Satan. Intangible level that only manifests in the physical plane after gestation period. The gestation period can be anywhere from a few days to several years. Example of this would be sowing seeds of pandemics of contagious disease like bad flu, Ebola, SARS, dengue, or sowing seeds to dead world war. Eclipses contribute to large way by providing circumstances conducive to amass the black energy that ghosts have. In an article on World War prediction mentioned between the years 2018 over, I bet that they will come 2025 and nothing will happen. I bet it will be accompanied by a unprecedented loss of human life. No, it won't be. I'm here, so it won't be. The main catalyst at a subtle intangible level for World War III will be a higher. Oh, the ghosts again. Okay, the ghosts come to war here. Oh, great. Let's laugh. Ha 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 ha. They will orchestrate those demons, you idiot. They will orchestrate these events through their black energy placement to wage. I think this is the I think that ghost is the same as the devil. On that is not. They're totally ignorant against his fellow men. Up to 10% of all the black energy will be gathered all the time of eclipse. Who does black magic at the Saurian side of the black magus? You idiots. Those are the black mag of the chameleon legions. The following table shows they are made of fire. And gases, they are no ghosts, no human at all, no human. The following table shows a breakdown of the fact that will help make the environment conducive for demons to create the black energy. Eclipse 10%, CTR 10%, blah 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 blah. From 2015 till oh my god, 2015. Now it's already 20, almost 2020. This is religion people are really sick in the mind. By present era, we mean that the present times of the era of strife Kalio, the universe goes through cyclical stage of destruction caused by primarily due to excess black energy, because they open portal for them to come in. On Earth have reached a peak between years 22 to 2012 to 22, and primed the Earth for spiritual cleansing period. By humanity action, I mean the black and predominant evil deeds of humankind. During an eclipse, there is a high amount of black energy flowing around in it. Earthquake, floods, epidemics, famines takes place when the collective sin increases. To punish these ones responsible for the increase in sin and the ones who do not take any measures to overcome the situation. Oh, and see, if the devils were so clean, so nice, so moral, they were so honest, huh? Is this what you want to paint them as some religion so moral, of highest moral value and order? Come on, man, stop being all mental disease. These disasters come suddenly as a result one does not get the time to think of saving oneself from such disasters. On the contrary, of course I knew it's from them. It's nothing that God or government. I know it's once them. On the contrary, for known events such as eclipse, we can save ourselves. Only we can save ourselves, we the human species. Nobody, no Jesus, no Allah, no Krishna, no Buddha will come down and save nobody. We have to save ourselves, we the human species, alright? Nobody, no savior will ever come from his ill effects by doing spiritual practice, but no, Mr. and Mrs. Humans and Miss and Mr. Humans are all busy doing nonsense thing, doing stupid thing, feeding their master's devil, and after that complain. So don't complain, you ask for it. For this is necessary that during the period of the eclipse, one should do spirit doing spirit blah 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 blah. Though people are not doing any religion are even faring better. Don't plan important functions. All actions and thoughts come under the purview of the subtle basic components. For example, they are either positive energy or happiness, whatever. All good and auspicious action are predominant. What? 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 So during an eclipse of full moon, whatever, we cannot sleep. We're going to stay awake. Is it? Then don't go to toilet. So where you go to wear pampers? Oh, I mean diapers, disposable diapers. Is it to do our natural needs on the diapers? Don't go to toilet. Have a meal sexual intercourse as they are. So we cannot eat. Sex, never mind, is another thing that influences many negative things, but meal, I don't think so. As there are black energy predominant and don't leave us more vulnerable to getting affected by nothing goes. That is lying. Those are demons. Avoid eating. This increase in the atmosphere during period of eclipse affects food as well as the digestive processes. Hence, it is advised to avoid meals during the period of the eclipse. Okay, I understand. The time period when you should avoid meal depends on the type of eclipse. This is because the amount of sunlight or moonlight reaching Earth depends on the precipitation. But don't sleep at all, I don't believe. And don't go to toilet. The moon is going to eclipse, then one should not have food in the previous 12 hours. It's not ghosts. One need to expect to because believe the eclipse is visible where one lives. Bunch of many things is correct what they say, but there's a lot of things that I cannot process. My mind just cannot process. Is absurd. The spiritual effects of the full moon in the focus are likely the spiritual. There are many factors that contribute to the evaluation of land, yet when purchasing land, engage in property development, or simply visiting places for business or pleasure, one rarely thinks about the subtle effects of the land and the impact it can have on a person. Yep. So if there is buried human remains behind or have been ground for battle or war, or if something bad have happened there, the team has 37 years of spiritual research in success has been conducted by using aura. Has been analyzed so far. The soil sample well from 8 types of areas, including urban and rural areas and those popular tourist sites. It was found most of the soil sample from around the world emitted negative vibrations. I'm not surprised. The only exception is India. I'm not surprised that you would say that. Where some positive ones found. Oh, I don't believe. I'm so sorry. India is so polluted and dirty. The main reason for the prevalence of negative vibration in the soil sample is the effect mankind is having on the environment at the physical, psychological, and spiritual level. The soil samples from some developed nations emitted more negative vibrations opposed to the soil sample from some developing ones. It was found that the subtle vibrations from land can vary substantially based on factors in people's collective thoughts and actions. For what purpose the property is used and the level of materialism prevalent in the area. There's also note that time is a factor that can influence the subtle vibration emitted from land, while subtle vibrations from the land affect people. It's more the people themselves who live on the land that enrich unpolluted at the spiritual level. Understanding the subtle aspect of land can help in making better choices while procuring land. Spiritual practice helps to protect one from negative subtle vibration of land and increasing spiritual purity. There are many factors that contribute to the evaluation of land, yet when one purchases land, engaging in property development or simply visiting places for business or pleasure. The article shared find through spiritual research that humanity's effect on the earth and the environment is not only because of physical reasons most people would assume, but more so at the psychological spiritual level. Spiritual research shows that humanity is adversely affecting the environment at the spiritual level, and this is called the absolute cosmic principle of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. To respond to this rising spiritual impurity, we need to respect earth, thus causing a higher intensity of natural disasters. It's nature's way of cleansing the planet. It's not nature, imbecile. This is something else. It is something planned already, consciously planned, premeditated, with devices and aura and subtle energy scanner. Rabbis do not think that it has now become possible for us to measure the subtle vibration emitted by objects, living and non-living. So this gives us tangible evidence as to how humanity has affected the environment, which includes the soil and waterways along flora and fauna. I see nothing, how they say, negative in that. I go to the earth, I step on barefoot, and I feel well. I feel good. I think it depends on your thoughts, and your level of understanding and thinking. You yourself are dead, so you think the earth is dead. The purpose of the study was to analyze soil from all around. But of course, if they mean literally dead, like having bacteria, verminosas, vermins, yeah, I understand. There's a lot of bacteria in the soil. Why not? Because of underground sewagery and all that, of dejects disposal. It's important to note that while instruments like the Great Spiritual, Australia, El Salvador, the following are some pertinent details with regard to soil samples that were collected and analyzed for this article. So, all this here, El Salvador, France, Indonesia, Malta, Russia, Serbia, UK, UAE, Switzerland, Sri Lanka, Singapore. The variance of time taken from collection to sample categorized. Urban, 53% rural, 40% in tourism. When the sample started to pour in, one trait became quite apparent. With the two sample areas, we have to record more negative energy reading than positive subtle energy reading. In fact, it aids from the spiritual process. Infrared, ultraviolet, positive aura, 20%. I'm not surprised that where I am, the energy is so dense that I can cut with a knife. 75.4% of the sample have negative aura. This means that the arms of the chest open up on degrees. It means some sample that had a negative aura. Oh, 20% had a positive aura. The countries from where positive soil read were recorded by three number, namely India, Croatia, and Sri Lanka. What, man? You all make bomb, you commit a lot of war there is rape, and you say that you are positive. What the heck? This is called what they call so full of themselves, if not racism, xenophobia, what else? Dogmatism, and the chauvinism. And Croatian too, the one positive. Croatian, there's a lot of crime in there. Sri Lanka positive came from heritage side. There's no sense, no sense, you know. Urban, In relation to soil sample from urban areas, the sample are mostly negative. The table below shows the list of cities where the soil samples had the most negative reading. I'm not surprised that you pick up some country out of racism. Aberdeen, Frankfurt, Bogota, Bandung, Adelaide, Lyon, Belize, Zagreb, La Paz, St. Petersburg, Vienna, UK, Germany, Colombia, Indonesia, Australia, France, Indonesia, Croatia, Bolivia. What? You say that Croatian is okay? What is it, man? These people are crazy. Bolivia, Russia, and Austria. It's important to note that the negative and the urban soil samples we see across all nations was not related to how economically developed the nation was, or whether it was a developing nation. The only country where some of the urban soil samples were distressed show level positive ones. I'm not surprised you all are from India. Soil sample from this is called bigotria. Bigotry, you are bigoted. Soil sample from rural areas average had lower levels negativity. Soil sample from the beaches when tests show less negativity in the soil sample peaked at typical. What they mean is infrared thing, They cannot just base their conclusion on those findings. Because the infrared sometimes shows that they read that the red and the black something very bad. You see? It's all like prejudices and discrimination. But you cannot take that thing. I also have. I got this device. I got this applicative, applicative, but however I do not take it very seriously. I show points in the house is very negative here, it's very black, very red, but I don't see it as something very bad, because I try to counteract it with my own thinking. I don't want to to have to deal with it. I don't have to live this kind of fears, So I don't take this infrared device as very, very serious. Que é só o sempre falador, like me manda para positivo de Índia, era qualquer positivo, era para all time, só sempre. What a bigoted people! I think these people are racist. The most of course Taj Mahal is Islamic, and the Hindus and the Islamic people doesn't go along with each other. It explains it all based on prejudices and racism. The most spiritually pure soil in the world because oh my God, why India has such a high proportion of soil thing? Oh my God, you are so full of bulls, full of bulls. Might as well hang yourself on your own neck. Make a talisman out of yourselves. How to trust these people? Tell me how to trust. If they are so bigoted like this, so how to trust in the first place? That's why I criticize and I go against it. Something that they say, something I take, some not. Something spirituality is negative in the soul was simple Taj Mahal. Só sempre do outro assim, pensa música rebelde estado de lei. Oh my goodness, universal termo esquina. They base their study on that. My God, how come some people could be so gullible and naive? Ay, 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 ay. The river itself is so polluted, they put negative positive. What the heck? And then they believe that that device is correct. Ah, my goodness. That's why I don't know. I do not take anything, just anything at face value. I do not trust just anybody or anything. Ay, my God. Make me laugh. Up to where goes the ignorancy in the level of bigotry of a race of people? Oh my goodness. Even though blue waters of some rivers, they will say that's negative, only because maybe it's found in Africa and South America, in Europe, and yeah, throughout the Americas, etc. The incoming soup has been captured by negative energy. Found to have both negative reading active below. Russia, Austria, Austria, Russia, Indonesia, India, Lebanon. The velho árabe place. Lebanon, I'm not surprised. India, attracted San Francisco Bay, USA, like to have the higher level of negative vibration. USA, I think they use that how to call that UVP, something UVP, something like that, like K2, and they base their read on that. I don't give much credit to that. UT reading a positive suture vibration for 100% of both the soil and water. So I got it now that some plants die because the soil itself has bad negative energy. I'm gonna test my plants. Many trees, when we use the EVP trees, they have a lot of uh, strong energy, very very strong energy in it. But I'm not gonna say it's good or bad. That one we cannot judge. You see, it's all relative, subject to what you think about your beliefs. It's all about your beliefs system. Because you are a India, you all are Indian, so you have to push the fish to your side. What? It's nonsense. You might as well hang yourself in your own neck as a talisman. First, they say that the ghosts, which is not even ghosts, are demons, not ghosts, and demons are not ghosts, and ghosts are not demons. They have to differentiate that. They say that is those same entities who tempting humans, and now they are saying that is humans. So what is what? I will believe that the most bad entities are ignorancy. So if humans choose to be ignorant, they will attract bad things to them, and then they will deflect it back to nature. A mission of distress energy from the past into the land. Oh my gosh. Now people going to walk open corpse that's below, is it? So many houses in the USA that's haunted. It's built in a burial ground. Usually is those people, the shaman people ground. Miss part of distress from the land, attraction of distress energy of the land. This is subtle picture of how humans affect the environment, and what this shows is how each person's thoughts and attitudes doing to their materialistic. You are not materialistic. You are not. Why people judging others for the things that they are? It's beyond me. There's so much hypocrisy, hypocrite. We cannot slap our hand for another, You cannot. For you to judge the people as being materialistic, you have forced not to be one. But if you are materialistic and only thinks of money, then how can you judge other person who is just like you? Lack of spirituality, personality defect, and extends the negative vibration to the environment and can be solved by the land and water, flora and fauna. Along with this, negative energies capitalize on this lack in humanity and increase the overall negativity in the environment. Another aspect is that most people maybe have forgotten the suffering from social upheavals and wars that led to millions of deaths over the centuries. But the soil has not and has retained the memories of these adverse events and negative impression, because everything that has happened and will happen is happening now. It's just a straight line. This they got to understand, it's all a straight lines. So that's why everything is happening now. You see now. So whatever happened before is still happening now, but in a subtle way that's invisible to our physical eyes. And not because it's happened something bad, but bad because it's still happening. Unfortunately, in the linear level, it is. Why a soil sent from religion physical? Oh my God. Well, the short answer is that negative energy from the subtle realm attack such place affect both the priest and the devotee. Oh, don't tell me. More excuses. This reduces the ability to practice spirituality, enhance the spiritual positivity of the environment. Unless there is the presence of saints and the guidance to devotees, they are not able to grow in the spiritual practice. The religions places that were not affected were places where true spirituality was being practiced, where deity's principles were active, where a saint was residing. Well, for one, provides a new perspective on how land should be evaluated in the actual world of real estate. There is a direct effect of humanity on the environment, and this is at the physical, psychological, and spiritual level. This leads to a looping effect where the very soil and water that people adversely affect emits negative vibrations that boomerangs back to affect the very same people. This affects the psyche of people, and negative energies from the spiritual dimensions capitalize on this. This results in a negative vortex where people stop or shun any form of spiritual practice and embrace materialism and a selfish view of life. Stay on land that emits negative vibrations affects the family on it, creating lots of problems such as anxiety, depression, addictions, hauntings. It also leads to various ills in society, just reducing the overall quality of life. Sustained increases in negativity in the environment, primarily created by humans and assisted by negative energies, go on to destabilize the absolute cosmic principles of Earth, or the CPE, water, fire, air, and ether. This results in an increase in weird weather patterns and catastrophic natural disasters. I don't believe that. It's blue ha. When there is positivity in the environment, the absolute cosmic principles are stable and the weather conditions are in control and predictable. This goes against the creation. Humans before the invasions of the aliens invasion and before the manipulation of their DNA, the former species of humans perhaps were more attuned to nature. You see, so this species has been heavily manipulated, molecularly wise, and and then the basis of DNA. So that's why Earth is somewhat out of balance, you know. However, there's nothing much the species can do because we have been molecularly manipulated and modified. You see, so it's not totally our fault. We have to take this complaint to the department of the reptilians, I would say, those who are now control it, the controllers, the dominators. What do you have to do with all this? You cannot take all the parcel of blame for it, you see. So if it is our negativity is affecting Earth, then the blame should go to the dark forces. The blame is theirs for changes the Anunnakis. What do we have to do with this? What we can do the most is trying to alert these people. We ourselves start from each one of us to lead by example. And I do more to plant, to care for the earth, not to litter our environment, not to live in wars, based on wars and fighting for nothing, and do not succumb to demonic influences. That's the only thing we can teach people. There are a few things that land development can do to increase the spiritual positivity in the environment. Firstly, conduct rituals to purify the land before any development. Pay obedience to the nonsense idiot men. Very, very sick on the head and a fanatic. Do not build the Vastu Shastra, which is based on find a direction that will not affect that building, means Do not face north. Do not face a mountain, which is the spiritual science of architecture. This is both for the land being developed and the way buildings, houses, and flats are designed and constructed. Do not build next to a graveyard, and it will negatively affect the residents of the premises for the entire period they stay there. I have seen people live by graveyard and they live happily ever after. And they do not fight and they are not disturbed by spirits of the dead. And their backyard is facing the graveyards. So I do not believe. See? There are chances that, and this is in Brazil. However, there are chances that it may happen. There are moving so that people living by graveyards, or the land be built open above graveyards, haunted. However, in some cases, some people have reported to live if their backyard facing graveyard and nothing happens. If one does not take into account the spiritual and subtle aspects of land in one's evaluation of it, more than 70% of the data needed for a proper evaluation is missed. Just because things look nice, clean, and orderly at a physical level does not mean that spiritually all is well. The study of soil has found that some of the most affluent places on earth actually emit the most negative vibrations. Those with very long history, like India, China, Russia, Middle East, so on and so forth, and even Americas, because the earth is very old anyway. Basically, the vibration from land and waterways depend on how one makes use of them and the purposes they are used for. Accordingly, they can be a heaven or hell in terms of spiritual vibrations. This independent of how valuable the land is from a materialistic point of view. For example, compared to the price of real estate around the world, the cost of land that the spiritual research center in Ashram is built on is a pittance. Yet, when it comes to spiritual positivity, the readings from universal themes can have shown that Ashram is so far the most valuable real estate in the world in terms of spiritual vibration. Don't trust all this nonsense of thermal thing while the study is still underway. The soil sample benchmark said, nonsense. Currently, the soil and waterways of the world is spiritually polluted, and this has a diverse effect on humanity. People cannot individually change humanity's ways, but by practicing spirituality and universal principle, it helps to build a protective sheet around one and enables one to experience mental stability and a better quality of life. Then a person can contribute positively to the environment by adding some spiritual positivity to it doing to the spiritual practice. Nonsense, all this. It is estimated that fresh water accounts for approximately 2.5% of the water on Earth. The rest, 97%, is saline and ocean-based water. However, not all the 2.5% fresh water is accessible, and most of it is trapped in glaciers, snowfields, and groundwater. What is left is a meager 0.01% of water is fresh water from lakes and rivers. When divided by 7.4 billion people and all living organisms, accessible fresh water is arguably one of the most important and scarce commodities on Earth. Ensuring the sustainability and purity of this precious life-sustaining commodity should be a top priority. Yet, when studying the sustainability and purity of water study focuses mainly on its physical purity and distribution. Should this accurate criteria be the only focus of such study? Experiment to study and analyze water principles. Through spiritual research, we have found that the spiritual dimension affects every aspect of our lives. It's logical to assume that the soil and water along the environment are affected at subtle level. In a research article titled "A Spiritual State of the Soil," we outlined how the human race is affecting the land, soil, and environment at a subtle level. A parallel study on water was also undertaken by the Maharishi Adhyatma Vishwahadhyaya Spiritual Sciences Foundation. The study of the subtle property of water commenced the purpose of the study and analyze water samples. The spiritual research team requested seekers and always travel to the spiritual research in the subtle vibration of sample are minimally impacted by other stimuli from the time of collection to the measurement of the sample. Actually, such a subtle analysis can only be undertaken using a person's sixth sense, which needs to be an advanced level. However, nowadays, with advancements in aura and subtle energy scanners, the spiritual research team is able to measure the subtle vibrations of objects. I don't believe all this is only I don't know, it's only misconception and misunderstanding. To measure the subtle vibrations in all of the water samples, that's nonsense unless you are very, very unique and you really can feel the aura. This one you cannot see, you cannot measure, you have to feel. If you see, that mean, if especially so if a device, that mean you don't know, you're not sure, you just are guessing. Men are fool, you know, the male are fool, and the woman who follows them. Over 5-year period, the spiritual research team has used this instrument. There's no sense like going and measure your head, the size of your neurons is much better than you talk about nonsense spirituality and measured in a way, in a base of measure. What's this? Nonsense. Spiritual state of water. Canals, lakes, pools and ponds, rivers, sea, spring, beach, it's not a sea, springs and waterfall, tap water. Now don't tell me that the Indians have a very positive, clean, pure, holy water, and the rest are all dirty, blah blah blah. Worldwide, including India. So negativity 59% and 36% positive. So excluding Indian, when exclude the Indian, the negativity increases and the positivity diminishes. Something very, very, very funny about it. As one can see from the above card, when observe samples that were collected from outside India, there was a sharp rise in percentage of negative. Oh no, no, enough, you say so much. Bigotry, racism, xenophobia, what else? Selfishness and full of bull craps. It's not correct. country. Look, Australia have a very wonderful bodies of water. The people put negative. Look at the sea, but still they love to flock there for opportunities. Wow, the United States is more the United States. Canals, lakes, pools and ponds, rivers, sea, springs and waterfalls, tap water, holy water. Canals, lakes, pools of ponds. If it is negative, also because many aliens come here to dip their ass on it, so make it more negative. And all those mountains, natures are filled with them, so they come there to dip their feet and get all negative. And if to all worried enough with the fact that there are a lot of humans who have a lot of negativity in them, who bathe themselves in this water. People have a myopic view when it comes to accessibility of water. I filter my water with stone, with pebbles and carbon and stones. Physical purity is usually the only aspect of water purity that's considered. We never take into account the spiritual purity of water. Perhaps the only time we put a spiritual value to water is when it comes to holy water from a place of worship, or if there is a spring that's popularly known to have healing properties. But even here, there is a lack of understanding as to whether such water is indeed holy, or if we consider it so just because the rest of the world consider it to be so. Chat, what this study has shown is that every water sample is different and has its own unique subtle signature. For me, I drink, I feel well, that's good enough. With the majority of, if I feel bad, because no good. With the majority of water samples being negative, it should be a cause for concern for us. The effect of drinking water that's spiritually impure has short and long-term repercussions on spiritual well-being. For spiritual well-being is compromised, it can manifest as various problems at a physical, psychological level. Ingest spiritually impure water or bathing is something that you should ideally try to avoid. One way of protecting ourselves from such problem is through regular and adopting spiritual healing measures and to salt water spiritual remedy, regular spiritual and if the water, ocean, the sea, especially in some countries, are all polluted. Anyhow, regular spiritual practice enhances the positivity at home. The premises internally have positive effect in the environment. Yep. So that's about it. The worst water is the one have chloride inside and heavy metals. Oh, like this one gonna be the last because I'm get off here. On the road and test, not a problem. Nowadays, there's a wide variety of bottled water. Those are false, fake mineral water. That one is tap water most of the time, or just a mineral water from they have the filter. They buy the filter, and then they bottle it up, and then they sell. If all them claim to have a high degree of purity, as you break open the seal and quench our thirst, you'll save in the promises of purity. But doesn't pure mineral water level mean that it's really pure and good for us and our families? Nope. Again, it's nonsense. I think it's positive if you try to say that's positive from India. The rest are all negative. See, Power Lake, Mumbai. Mumbai, you know how polluted that place, even the beach as well, they say it's neutral. Why don't he just say it's negative? Some people can never be honest, they let their bigotry be on the way of honesty, and this kind of behavior will lead these people, this speech of people backwards, really, because they are not honest to themselves, but instead they love to flock to the Americas, to Europe, uh, to Australia, even to live there. Spring water, United Kingdom. Wow, only one positive for them, based on their bigoted findings. Niagara Falls, also negative. I do not believe, really. Switzerland is a very beautiful place, and even there is negative for them, to them. You see how twisted these people are. They are sick, sick people. How far their jealousy and racism goes. The subtle vibration pode que haver vários elementos. House, temple. You don't know. You are just full of crap and bigotries and religions superstitious. Changi Airport, Singapore and London, Heathrow. Oh my goodness, in jet they love to come to this country, don't they? Suit the impact of drink water that has positive and negative vibration. Distress in the activity the Deity chakra. These people, they teach, they mix up truth with not truth, with misconception, racism, bigotries, you see, and xenophobia. Most of what they say, I would say that 60, no, 80% is true, but the rest is not, you know. So I just take what I feel as the truth. The rest I will criticize and throw away. That's all. Finally